car.
Alright, let me know when you're ready. Ready? Okay. Hi, my name's Scott. It's March 19th, I think. Rochester, New York. We've got a sunny, beautiful day out here. Probably, I don't know, what, 40 degrees? It's feeling pretty balmy. Anyway, I want to do a little ranting here. Show you a couple things I'm doing to my 2006 Dodge Durango. I'm actually doing some spark plugs. So I was looking through this, and I'm doing the spark plugs. I'm doing the starting on the cold air intake, as you see right here, and doing the spark plugs. And I'm not going to take you through the whole thing because there's a couple of great tutorials out there on that, but just show you a few things that I'm doing. So anyway, cold air intake. We'll just start with that. Come over, take a look. I took out the old stock intake, and you see over here on the side, I've got a Spectre. I've got a Spectre 4-inch to 3-inch adapter. You can see it over the side here. You swing over this way, okay? So I got the Spectre 4-inch to 3-inch diameter, which is about the only thing that's going to fit. It's fairly thin, and you can see the I want to say that's the TPS or whatever module is attached to the throttle body here. Is really tight in there, so you can't get like a Fernco in there. You got to use something thin. The Spectre worked out really good, and I used a they have an aftermarket 3-inch where they've got you can put a you can put your vacuum input, which I have here. This is actually off the old stock system, so I pull the ends of the tubes off, and you have the old long system that goes into the oil fill spout. So you've got it's going to be taking care of any vacuum on that. Over to here to the cold air intake, which doesn't exist. I've taken out the battery box, and I got to tell you, the freaking battery box is a pain in the ass. Real easy for the most part, except for the Daimler-Benz people in their over-engineering decided to put a screw in the bottom of this thing, okay, that you almost can't get at. So I went in and did a little axe modification. I want to ask them a question, okay? Why would you put a fucking screw underneath this thing? That's crazy, all right? So I took it out, and I can always glue the piece back in, but that piece, the screw here, longer than any other screws. This is the one that sits under here that you have to unscrew to get the battery box out. Top four, real easy. This one, why isn't it coming out? Because of this. All right, and this freaking screw, which you can't get at with these freaking pipes here. It's a pain in the ass. Why would you do that? Okay, very over-engineered. Anyway, long and short of it is, if you ever want to take the battery box out, you got to find that screw. So that's one rant. Now I've gone through and I've opened this up because obviously I'm going to be taking the cold air system. Right now I just have it set up for here. I'm going to be taking this and running this down here so I have real cold air. I'm going to be pulling cold air from down here eventually. So I had to take all this out. But to get at the spark plugs, here's the coil packs on the passenger side. So real easy to get at. You've got two 10 millimeter screws on each coil pack. Okay. Now going back here, it's going to get a little tougher in the very back there to get at that one. But you know, you can put a swivel. Going to have to put a swivel on it or whatever the case is to get at it. But it looks mostly everything is pretty well accessible on this side without the battery box in there and without the with the intake, because the intake would be in this area right here. So anyway, that's all going to run down there. I've got it nice and open. I'll also be able to go in and do a little rust proofing in there and stuff like that if I got any bad areas. Clean up the contacts. So anyway, this is my cold air system. Makes a big difference right now, I gotta tell you. It's really hauling. The intake air temperature sensor right here, they talk about relocating it. I've got an extension piece on order, which I'll run down with the cold air intake down here, but right now it sits and just kind of jerry-rigged on the side of this for now, just to be open. It's going to be the same air temperature as is going into the air filter. For now, it's exposed, but I'm not really worried about that for a couple days. Anyway, moving over to here again, the hoses, I just used the same hoses that I had on the end of the piece, the stock piece. So I took the stock tube, the plastic tube, and I took the rubber pieces off the end. I put a inline coupler between them, and I ran the more S-like, snake-like piece right here into the nipple on the oil intake. Clamped it off here. I got a large, I want to say it's a 5/8 inch barb fitting or whatever. It's pretty good size. It's got a big, I want to say it's probably over the size of a quarter, with a thread side here. Wrapped it up with some electrical tape to be able to fit into one of the 3 pieces they give you on this little extension piece for the intake. And I use this, the piping here. So that's stock. If I want to return to stock, I still got my stock tubes here. Getting to the coil pack, I'm not really going to get into it deep, but the Durango is supposed to have the plugs change every 30 to 35,000 miles. Now I've had it since 80,000 miles. Have no idea. These could be original, okay? But it looks pretty good though, not bad. It's been in there for 127,000 miles as far as I know, but at least since 80. It's been in there for the last 45,000. You're supposed to actually, with the Durango and the Hemi, you're supposed to change plugs every 30 to 35. Okay, which I found out recently, and so here we go. So we're going to be putting in my first set of plugs in there. And then over on this side, you can see coil pack's fairly, you know, again, you get towards the back, it's going to be a little bit of a problem trying to get that very back 10 millimeter bolt. But I can always go in and take on either side, I can take out the inner fender well, the plastic fender well, maybe be able to get at it better or whatever. I'm just going to have to get contorted and be like a circus freak like I am sometimes and get in there and try to take out that back bolt. Other thing I want to point out is that when you do this, I had a lot of grunge on the engine, so went out and bought two for $5 at AutoZone. Blast the shit right off of there. I go down and blow down all the crap off the engine best I can. Then I pull the coil pack off. On the back of the coil pack, you got some grungy crap on the back of here, so I just want to go ahead and blast that off away from the openings of the spark plug holes, but like that, just get some of the crap off there. You get the idea. And then also do it on the block too. As long as I got it off, I'm gonna go down and clean off around the area where the spark plugs are, spark plug holes down there. Just kind of clean up the top of the cover there. But other than that, that's the deal. So this fits over the spark plug. That goes back in here. It's gonna, when you pull your plugs out, obviously you're going down pretty deep, so it actually goes down probably about that far, okay, to get at it. And go back and put it back in. I got my torque wrench, so I make sure that they're in right. You know, you just want to go basically, and if you don't have a torque wrench, hand tight, as you know. That's pretty much about it. So I'll take some more shots once I have this back together, have the cold air intake fully run down here and whatever. But just to give you an idea, some of the things going on, easy modification, real simple. This was $42 at AutoZone. The 4-inch to 3-inch Spectre mount that goes onto the throttle body was like $9 or something like that, and then this little air intake sensor piece right there was about maybe 10. 42 for that. You get a K&N, it was maybe 55. So whatever you like. I got the biggest one with the best flow for the Spectre, and pretty good bang for the buck. Definitely seat of the pants. You can feel it, feel the acceleration considerably. But other than that, that's what I got now, and we'll catch up with you later on. Thanks. Have a good day.